We're going to explain the dreaded OSError WinError 6. The handle is invalid error in Python. This error, specific to Windows, pops up when your Python code tries to use a file handle that's no longer valid. Think of a file handle as a ticket granting access to a file. If the ticket is lost or expired, you can't get in. Let's explore the common causes and solutions. 1. File already closed. The most frequent culprit is trying to operate on a file after you've already closed it. Imagine you opened a file, read its contents, and then explicitly closed it using file close at. Any further attempts to read or write to that file will result in the handle is invalid error. Always ensure that you're performing operations while the file is still open. For instance, you should never write to a file after its close method has been called. The solution is simple. Keep the file open as long as you need it, and perform all necessary operations before closing. Use with OpenSTAS as FASTA context manager. This automatically closes the file, even if exceptions occur. 2. Incorrect file paths. A typo or an incorrect path to your file can lead to this error. Python can't find the file, so it returns an invalid handle. Double-check your file paths carefully for any mistakes in spelling, capitalization, or directory structure. Using absolute paths can help prevent this, because it makes it easier to be clear what the intended file is. To diagnose this issue, print out the file path before opening to make sure it's correct. Consider using OSPath or OSPathExists to verify paths. 3. File already in use. Another cause could be another program or process already holding the file open. If you try to open and manipulate a file that's in use by another application, you'll receive this error. For example, if you are trying to write to a log file which is currently being written to by another part of the program, or a separate process, you may encounter this. Close the file in other applications, or wait until they release the file. 4. Accidental handle closure. Sometimes, unintentional actions in your code can close the file handle. This can happen with poorly managed exceptions, or improper use of other system libraries that interact with the file system. Make sure that your exception handling does not inadvertently close files, and check that you are not using system calls that interfere with file access. Thorough code review can help identify these scenarios. 5. Resource leaks. While less common, failing to release system resources properly can lead to accumulated invalid handles. This is particularly relevant when dealing with large numbers of files or long-running processes. Pay close attention to the resource management sections of any relevant libraries that interact with files, and make sure that you are correctly closing files. 6. Insufficient permissions. If your Python script doesn't have the necessary permissions to access the file, read, write, etc., you might encounter this error. Ensure your user account has the required permissions on the target file or directory. Remember to handle exceptions gracefully using try-except blocks. This allows you to catch the OS error specifically and provide informative error messages or take corrective actions instead of abruptly stopping your program. Always check your file paths, verify file access, and meticulously manage file handles to prevent this frustrating